Tkinter in Python programming language. Three things are always involved, and three widgets are always necessary for us to know what we're actually doing. The first one is the label, second one is the entry, and the third one is the button. This is the most thing that you must know in Tkinter. So, and our video, I've talked about in label and how label works, and I talked about what this pack actually does, just to display it on our application. So let's run it again to see our current. Can see currently right now we're able to use this label to display this output on our screen. So the next thing we're going to put here is the entry. What does this entry does? You know how entry does, just to collect input from somebody. That's what entry is basically about. We're going to be similar to like this. What we have to do is just say entry, our application initializer, which is the main. And then we like this, we're able to create our entry. The next we're going to do is to pack it. It takes a whole lot of other parameters, but as of now, we're going to do it in the simplest way. So we should get our entry box on our screen. You can see here. You can see right now, let me bring it closer. You can see here, we can put anything that we want on this of our entry box, or I can say entry pad here. So the next thing we're going to do is to we can try to shape the entry, like giving we want. You can come here and put the width. We can say want to add the width to it. Let's say the width of our entry. Let's put it, give it 30 for example. The width is going to change. You can see the width changes to 30. Okay, let me put it to 10, so we can see the difference. You can see how 10 looks like. So you can see these two key effects. But doing it in this way is not actually the best. It's not actually the best way to do it, because this putting the width inside there has a little bit of limitations, because it's not actually flexible for us to do it in this way. For us to make it more with more flexibility the way we want, we're going to make use of what is called place. This place is going to place this of our entry in our application, but in this way it's going to we can deliberately set the height and the width the way we want. So we can come here and say, instead of saying pack, we're going to say in this place, what we are definitely going to do is we can set our width and our height inside there, and other things. Set the width to maybe 30 and the height. Let me set the height. Let's say I want the height to be something like 60. This is just for a testing purpose. Width 30, height 60. You can see it doesn't look kind of good. So let's try to make the width here maybe something like 70, 30. Let me come and say 70, and then let me say 30. Yeah, let me just try reversing the case. Let me close this, and then let me run it. You can see here it look a little bit bigger, but I can also set the height width to be maybe something like 120. So let's see, it look good. You can see it looks a little bit better. Now we can try to place it in our particular position of our chart, making use of X and the Y. This place make use of X and the Y. We know that when it comes to S of the Y, here the start from the top two guys, here is 0, 0. So here is our X. So here is our Y, and here is our X. This is more like saying this here is our height and here is our width. So to place it, because here is joining with this our guide that we wrote here, so we can try to bring it a little bit down. So I'm going to, let me set my X size to be a little bit shifted to maybe something like 130, and then I want my height, which is the Y, to come down a little bit. So I can set my Y to something like maybe 50, for example. Let's run this. I didn't do any magic here. This is just setting my X and Y. If you know how graphs works, this is just basically the same thing, how graph works. Let me setting your graph and then starting from, but when it comes to the programming language, instead of starting from 0 up, right now instead of starting from 0 to up, now I'm starting from 0 down. 0 is at the top, left hand at the top, which is 0, 0. And then we're going moving like this. Your X is increasing, and then from down, your Y is also increasing. So in this situation, we're expecting something like 130, maybe somewhere at the middle, and that of for that of X and Y is going to go down a little bit. So let's run this. You can see, so we get like this. From here, this is where our X and Y, let me bring this down. This is where our X and Y were 0, 0. So a 0, 0, 130 is somewhere here, and that of for that of Y, 50 is down somewhere, particular position. Here we can type what we want. There are a whole lot of other ways to achieve this by making use of, we can make use of grid to achieve. Let's say grid. Grid is to use in this kind of situation. Here we can set the row and the columns that we want. You can set the row to be, maybe I want it in row, maybe in row 5, for example, and then column. Know that row is like this, and this is of our column. Maybe I want it in column, maybe in column 7. So let me write here column 7. So let me run. Cannot have grid and when you're making use of grid and pack, at times if the grid tends to reappear beneath, the pack is going to be kind of packed interchangeably, can cause the pack to be a slave to this of our grid. So what we can handle here is to change this of our pack to grid. Since we're not setting it to any particular location, here we can run this now. It's not going to give us any problem. You can see, but the problem is that this entry is going to be rendered before of our labels. To handle this, we're going to move this label on top of here. Why this moving so fast? So let me just copy this and put it on top of here. So let's run this. You can see the label is now on top of it. The way Pack does is to stack things and like it kind of from top to bottom. So why grid tend to specify where we want it to be. You can set this columns to be 7. Let me make it to be somewhere around here. You can see since I use the grid, it tends to shift it to the left hand. So if I set this guy to 5, and then it should move a little bit to our left hand side, even though it doesn't seem to move, but actually it moves to the left hand side. So that's this is basically what I want us to look at. In the previous video, we're going to use this entry a little bit more to do some high level things. So I think this should be it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll be able to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.